When it comes to art, people's perceptions can be skewed by a myriad of factors. This chart from NPR shows how much more positively people responded to music when it was preceded by a glowing review from a music critic. In our research of this bias, we found that perhaps artists are affected a little differently. First, we wanted to see how a perceived value would affect their opinions on the art. So we took two seemingly simple paintings, red, orange, and yellow, as well as The Voice of Fire, and see how their opinions would change once they learned of the high values of these art pieces.
A little box that's green, and then a medium box, and then a large box. Yes. To some people, it might seem like it's a very beautiful expression of something I don't want to bother making up right now. To me personally, I'm like, cool, that's a nice background image.
Do you think that painting's beautiful? Do you hate it?
I don't hate it.
You don't hate it?
I don't hate it. I don't like it.
Does it seem skillful?
Not terribly skillful, but I mean, I probably couldn't do this, but...
Do you find it beautiful? Do you find it stimulating?
Not particular. I just think it looks like a vertical flag.
Yeah.
I think.
Do you find it to be beautiful?
Yeah, I guess in the sense like this beam of like bright red going through the dark blue, it could provoke a lot.
Now, does it change your opinion to know that this is worth $40 million?
Wow.
It was sold to this Canadian museum for $1.8 million, and its price has now gone up to $40 million.
I don't think price reflects changes like the value, like how beautiful it is.
Okay.
Like I think that's a bit silly how much it is personally, but like
it doesn't make you appreciate it anymore.
Same appreciation for it.
Okay. Would it change your interpretation or the way you think of it if you knew that it was worth $80 million?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Would it change your opinion of the painting to know that it's worth $86 million?
No, I still don't like it.
It depends upon who's looking at it. I mean, some person, it could be worth $80 million. To me, it's worth the amount of time the person put into it. So, I don't know, good $200.
Yeah.
Next, we took two paintings. One, this portrait of the Spanish royal family, commissioned in 1994 and completed only a few months ago, as well as paintings from Annie Kay, an Indian man who exclusively paints with his tongue, to see if the craftsmanship of these two artists would affect how people perceive the value of the artwork.
The brushstrokes in this are pretty crazy. Like in his hair and stuff, all the different colors. All the colors, like, it's very interesting how this painter made them blend. I don't think I really like it though.
It's kind of a cool painting. I mean, he looks kind of silly, but
Is it supposed to be Jesus, or is it just...
Yeah, it's Jesus.
Okay.
Look how technically proficient I am at painting. It's really impressive. In the same vein, it's like the difference between this and a photo is textures.
Like it? Is it a good painting?
Is it a good painting? No. It's from an uneducated person. I don't like this painting because I don't think it's good.
He exclusively paints with his tongue.
no way.
Yeah.
That was painted with someone's
It's painted
tongue?
with his tongue.
Whoa.
It's this guy named Annie Kay.
I don't know if I find it more beautiful. I'm very impressed by this artist.
I would never put that up in my office.
So,
Does that make me like it? I mean, props to him for painting with his tongue, but I still don't like it.
fair enough.
He put a lot of time to it, so it's really impressive. And it makes sense when it's like taking a long time. If that person did it in a month, I'd be even more impressed because it's like, wow, holy shit.
You would have to put a lot of work into it, so there's definitely effort into it.
Thus far, these other factors had not deterred from the original position on how they felt about the art. We moved on to artist's intent and demonstrated the fountain, as well as Guernica by Picasso. The reactions once they learned the intention behind these pieces of art were slightly different.
I find it comical that they calls it the fountain when it's quite obviously not a typical fountain.
Because a urinal is used to represent the venting of waste, and to have it used as something artistic is contrasting to what it's actually used for. And I just pulled that out of my ass.
It looks like depression and desperation and death.
Maybe like people are like not having a good time.
In 1937, in order to depict the bombings during the Spanish Civil War by Germany and Italy of a small town called Guernica, would that change your opinion of whether you think it's beautiful or not?
Now I'm seeing that people are exploding.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
From your standpoint now, looking at that, I was like, well, that's the toilet. But back then, it's like, holy shit, he used something real for art as opposed to drawing something on a piece of paper and sticking it on a wall.
Right.
Which could be seen as like, holy shit, we're using synthesizers in music. And, now it kind of looks, it's kind of cheesy.
Mm-hmm. Lastly, we sought to see if the discretions of the artist behind the work would affect all the opinions on the pieces. We used controversial figures like Wagner and, seen here, Caravaggio.
Well, this person is getting their head cut off. Cool.
Like, I find it to be very disturbing, but I find that the artist is a very talented artist. Like, it's really well painted. But it's a very disturbing subject matter.
Attempted to castrate a guy that tried to steal his prostitute. In doing so, murdered him, and eventually got murdered himself for doing so.
Well, painting's still really well done. I mean, the guy's fucking crazy, but
Does it matter what the painter was like to the painting?
Like, you can never judge something by its cover. So like, he might have had a messed up life. At least he had some kind of talent,
I appreciate his work. I don't appreciate his life choices. But his work is still pretty impressive and should be studied and, blah, 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 for betterment of everyone who looks at it.
In conclusion, almost all of the artists maintained their initial view of the art, regardless of the craftsmanship, the perceived value, or the personal life of the artists, and all of them seem to embrace the initial artistic intentions. One hypothesis to why this might be is this is how all artists wish to have their work perceived, untainted by any outside factors.